Welcome back to episode 2 of our mini season going over phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. New announcements from San Diego Comic-Con. Last week we talked about the first part of phase 4. This week we're going to talk about 4 of the things that they announced, including the Eternals, Shang-Chi, WandaVision, Dr.Strange, Multiverse of Madness. All of that is happening this week, so it's going to be a really jam-packed. If you want to listen to all these episodes without waiting every single week, go to patreon.com/DelphinPod. We have them all connected as one gigantic, long 2-hour episode. And I am currently traveling back from my Australia trip. Thank you so much if you were able to meet up and talk. I will be next weekend, I believe the 25th, 26th, 27th in Philadelphia and New York City. If you want some Dolphin Pod stuff, let me know. Thanks so much for listening. I keep saying, but here's this episode. Poor guy. Moving on now to another movie coming out. So next year, we have 2 movies and then The Falcon Winter Soldier. The second movie takes us away from Earth and into, like, deep into the lore of the space. Balls deep. We're talking about Eternals. I'm going to go down.
Probably still on Earth, actually. Just very old.
Yeah.
Old
Earth.
It's going to be directed by Chloe Zhao, who, yeah.
Starts Angelina Jolie, Kumail Nanjiani, Selma Hayek.
Richard Madden, Selma Hayek, Brian Tyree, Lauren Riddoff, Leah McHugh, Don Lee. This is actually, I'm going to ask you guys, because you guys are comic book people. I don't know a single fucking thing about the Eternals.
Yeah.
I know that they were somewhat referenced with...
well, I mean, you've met some of the Eternals already.
In Guardians Volume...
Well, I mean, they're just the beings that are around for forever, like the Collector.
So, so the Eternals, basically, they're made by the Celestials.
The Grandmaster also.
The Celestials are giant, god-like figures that, like, kind
the
of
ones
like...
that you saw in Guardians wielding the Infinity Stones.
Yeah, and then Think Nowhere is, like, actually the head of a Celestial.
Yep.
So the Celestials are these huge, like, giant, like, walking monoliths, basically, and they created the Eternals thousands and thousands of years ago as, like, a part of, like, a, basically an experimentation on proto-Earth. Like a...
Creating life.
Yeah, basically. And so, like, the Eternals were one of the first humanoid beings that came about. And then all life followed after that.
Mm-hmm.
The Eternals usually fight the Deviants, or the Deviants, which are basically just evil versions of the Eternals. Like, they're very...
Equally as powerful, and, like, the power to mow down civilizations also.
And then, so, like, the Eternals are basically... they're just, like, very long-living humans. And so it's going to be pretty interesting. I don't know if they're going to use this in the movie continuity, but in the comics, the Collector and the... I think the Grandmaster are... members of the
Eternals.
they're considered Eternals because they're like very
right.
And then Thena,
that's different than the Celestial, which was Ego the Living Planet.
Thena is in the comics. I'm not sure how this is going to go in the movies
right.
again, but like
they always change the stuff up.
Thena is actually the cousin of Thanos because like Thanos' father was an Eternal apparently, but that's in the comics. I'm not sure if they're going to stick with that in the movie.
What so I know Angelina Jolie is in this movie. Is it safe to assume that her character is going to be
the lead for
the main character? Because I mean, it's freaking Angelina Jolie.
Yeah.
But
I think it's going to be another Guardians where like they have to try to balance.
There's a good cast. Kumail is funny and he's in it.
He's going to be the comedic relief for sure. And then you got people again like Selma Hayek, and you have Madden who just came off of Game of Thrones and Bohemian Rhapsody. He's definitely a rising star. So it's really cool to mix a mixture of this cast being some veterans and some rising stars too.
Well, yeah, and I think it's exciting because it right now as far as I know, it's not as connected to the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe in its own way. So it's kind of just venturing even beyond. I think, because I think that's going to be the first new, introduction of a new group or new characters to this Phase 4.
Well, and I think this is where you have to play it smart and put in some of the characters that we're familiar with, like Thanos and Ego the Living Planet and Ronin.
I think I maybe misspoke. I think like Thanos or Grandmaster, they're part of the Elders. Yeah, and that's like actually, it's actually a different race a little bit.
It's like they're all eternal. I was kidding.
One of the most interesting parts of this to me is the Eternals they basically can see everything kind of, right? And they kind of are all knowing in some weird way.
Not really.
But they're supposed to intervene sometimes.
They're definitely there. They're kind of like guardians in a way, like of like Earth and stuff like that. And then also
Okay.
because other planets have Eternals as well. Like there's Eternals of Titan.
Yeah.
And one of those Eternals like gave birth to Thanos and shit.
Well, what the part that's interesting to me is explaining why the Eternals didn't step in for a lot of the, not just the big stuff in the MCU, but just like the crazy stuff that happens on Earth, like the awful things that we've gone through. And of course, all of the Thanos stuff is kind of explaining like why they stepped back or didn't do anything. I think that's a really cool place to start having a little conflict of like, you didn't intervene
Yeah.
when you should have, kind of like the real life God. I'm just kidding. But yeah, Eternals I'm really excited for. I mean, it probably
That's, like,
more so.
One of the more obviously like one of the more newer and obscure properties of Marvel
and,
coming to light.
like people who try to dig up like old back issues or like graphic novels, good luck, because there's only one book orderable. So that's why
Wow.
I think after this movie's announcement and some of the press and some
There's been a giant like
advertising-
Eternal run and stuff. They're just not collected for some reason.
Well, and that's what I'm
Like,
saying. I said I think now they're gonna start to crank out all that stuff now. So now there'll be 3 or 4 books that you can order, 5. But as of right now, there's only one, and that's how obscure this group is to mainstream. I think comic readers and moviegoers.
I've not even looked to see what they look like, but I assume some of them are alien-y looking, or are they all?
they're kind of like they look like
Humans?
people like the
Like the shape
well
of
because
people.
they're created by Jack Kirby. So imagine
Yeah.
the people who dress similar like in Thor Ragnarok. There you go. They kind of look like people like that with shapes and circles and squares.
Jack Kirby is pretty far out, wasn't he?
Far
He was a
out.
pretty far out dude.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the design. This movie's gonna be his. It's gonna be an homage to him more so than I feel like Ragnarok was.
Ragnarok.
Because
Yeah.
like he's got some crazy like the way his ships are designed were just like squares and circles and the Celestials.
Super obscure.
Yeah, the Celestials, like the way they walk and stuff, and the way they look on that poster on that concept art, the Eternals, is pretty awesome. So like I'm excited to dive more into like some very weird cosmic shit with this movie. So like I'm totally excited for it.
So that's 2020. So that's next year. So by the end of next year, I kind of like this. So May and November, those are the two times of the year, like the summertime and then like for the holiday season. Pretty good scheduling for Marvel.
Safe.
Yeah, pretty safe. And later on, we're going to talk about how at some point there's going to be 3 movies coming out in 1 year, which at first I thought wouldn't work, but it worked this year. Every movie made $1 billion. Shit. And then you don't have to wait too long because in February 12th, Valentine's Day.
Yep.
You can take your lover. February 12th of 2021, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. So I'm going to go over
The master of kung fu.
the director before we talk about retconning again here. But so Destin Daniel Cretton is directing this movie. He's a Japanese filmmaker from Hawaii, but it's interesting. 3 of the movies he's made have starred Brie Larson, so I wonder if she helped get the old
the
word
gig.
in there for it. But Short Term 12, The Glass Castle, and Just Mercy, which is coming out this year, all star Brie Larson. This guy's young too, and I'm really upset about it.
Yeah, because we're young.
Fuck yeah, we're young. Why aren't we making the Shang-Chi? One of the really fun parts of this story of the creation of this movie is the I don't know. Did you guys see the actor who tweeted?
He basically campaigned himself like years ago, right? Like
and it worked, baby.
Yeah, it did work. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
But yeah, super excited to. But let's talk about the Legend of the Ten Rings, because doesn't that imply
the Mandarin.
the Mandarin or the real
Mandarin. Correct.
Mandarin?
That is pretty cool. I mean, I think that's a
That was
great way
that was a pretty
to.
big surprise.
Yeah.
It's a great way to bring people into this movie. I mean, the character is, Shang-Chi is the, in the comics is the master of Kung Fu, even more so than, I guess, Iron Fist.
Yeah.
So to get people on board with a new character and introducing, like, the 10 rings and stuff, I think that's a great move on Marvel.
Not
Like,
to
that's
mention
awesome.
that a lot of people hated that twist in Iron Man 3,
Yeah,
so
so,
it'll
like,
shut them up about
It's kind of some
that.
retconning there
Yeah.
going on. Like,
In some weird way, if we talk about, because I mean, some people were upset because of his status as a villain, but some people were just upset too that he wasn't
the actual, like,
like an
Mandarin.
Asian.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And what's really funny in a weird way is that movie gets better because it's him like taking
It's an imposter.
yeah, like ultimate imposter almost.
Yeah.
Like, even so it's kind of insane. But yeah, I think I'm excited for this movie. What is his superpower?
magic
Really?
esque. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, cool.
Yeah.
There isn't a. You were telling me before we potted that there isn't a ton on him as well, just like the Eternals in terms of.
Well, Shang-Chi has a giant history. I mean, he was created in 1972.
Yeah. Well, and he had a recent run come out in Battle Worlds for Marvel's Big Secret Wars event this past. I think it had to have been within the last 2 years. But they gave him his own title, but wasn't the biggest seller just because again people don't really know who he is.
Yeah.
But that's all gonna change. They're releasing his action figure later this year.
Okay.
I have a feeling that people are gonna speculate on that and buy a crap ton of them.
He's not like, he's kind of like a Batman. Like, he's not like superhuman, but like his skills make him
it's kung fu.
superhuman. Yeah, like he's like better at kung fu than anybody else in this universe.
Yeah, I mean, it's like he can take down Black Widow with his kung
He can
fu,
take out
probably.
like Iron Fist, I feel
Yeah.
like, with his kung fu.
That's exciting too, because just to see like a not a John Wick, well, I guess so, like that style of movie, action movie in the MCU is going to be neat, because even like there are moments in Winter Soldier and Civil War where we see some really fantastic fight sequences, but then we realize, oh, everyone has superpowers, and so it's
Yeah.
not
Right, yeah.
like, oh, we'll just
he can
fuse
duplicate
you or
himself.
something.
Like in some comics, he can, like he has like cosmic radiation,
Yeah.
basically makes him, a mirror image of him.
I wonder
like,
if
kind of
his,
like Naruto.
I wonder if
and shit.
his magic's going to be tied into the Doctor Strange magic of that world too.
Hopefully, I mean, I feel like you can get into like this magic stuff with it because of the 10 rings, and the 10 rings, like the real Mandarin, the source of his power is magic on his rings. Right. So like you can get into some weird shit with that, and I think it's gonna be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
it's
well, and the 10 rings popped up in Iron Man 1 first also. too.
Yeah.
Iron Man 1 and then Iron Man 3, and then I guess this kind of continues that storyline,
Well,
which is it's pretty great.
There was that short film, that Marvel one-shot where...
Where they imply that there was a real
that
Mandarin.
Trevor Slattery got a threat from prison that, it's the real Mandarin asking him to stop
Imagine
impersonating him.
if that's how this movie opens, with like Trevor Slattery being like executed or something,
or,
like by the Mandarin.
Yeah, that'd
Shit.
be cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think they already have the actor who's going to play the Mandarin.
Yeah, that's correct.
They do, right?
I
It's
don't
already
know his
cast.
name, but yeah, he's cast.
And it's like this really like prolific actor. Oh, hold on. I'm looking it up. The internet is slow here inside.
That's weird.
You guys cover it up. Sing a song or something.
The morning I wake up.
Okay, that's good. It's still loading.
I don't know the rest of the song.
Oh,
I save a
shit.
little
Yeah, I was about to
prayer
say.
for you.
I may just give. It's IMDb. You think it would
Oh
load?
my god.
And the IMDb traffic is just
Forever and ever.
What's going on
Keep going.
What's going on at like past 11 that everyone's? Oh, it just loaded, but I click refresh.
Oh, son of
Oh, Aquafina is in this movie.
Aquafina.
That's fucking sick. I just saw her in The Farewell, which I keep talking about because it's a fucking great movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
about Once Upon a
Tony
Time in Hollywood?
But sorry, say
Tony
that again.
Shalhoub?
Hold on, I'm it's IMDb's loading again.
Oh my god. All right, we're going to have to take a quick breather here.
I think Aquafina's gonna win a fucking Oscar
for
for
The
The
Farewell?
Farewell.
The water?
Yeah. It's not loading.
Okay, cool.
Sorry.
All right,
Sorry,
we're
Juan.
just going to speculate who it is.
But yeah, Shang-Chi is super exciting. I mean, I am Asian, so I'm excited to see an Asian superhero up there on the big old silver screen, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk. So next, we're halfway through now. But so
Wow.
we're going to talk about the thing that I know the least about. Let me look. Yeah, I'm looking at the rest. Yeah, this is what I know very little about. A lot of it isn't really shared either. And I'm not even sure about the title. But I'm talking about a Disney Plus show coming out in spring of 2021.
His name is Tony Leung.
There you go. You have better internet than me?
Yes, I do.
Fuck.
It's the Hong Kong
Mandarin.
actor, the Mandarin in Shang-Chi.
But look at his credits. There's an insane amount of movies that
The
he's
credits?
in Chinese cinema. It's bonkers.
Yeah, you're right. I see it.
Yeah, cool. All right, cool.
That's it.
But WandaVision. Let's talk WandaVision. I'll tell you everything that we know so far. Again, which isn't much.
Very nice. Pun.
But it'll be on Disney Plus. It won't be available right away. Vision is in the series, so we know he's alive or
Maybe,
around at
question
some
mark?
point. And in an interview, Elizabeth Olsen, my favorite part of the Olsen family, I'm just kidding. I share a birthday with Mary Kate and Ashley. Did you guys know that?
Is that
Pretty crazy, right?
So that's your
Whatever
actual
happened
like
to predictability?
your actual favorite Olsens are the
Yeah.
are the twins.
Man, the paper boy. The evening TV.
But she did say that part of it was filmed set in 1960 and also in 1950.
Yeah.
So I don't know
That's what
what
she-
the
yeah.
fuck is going on with this. What do you guys think happens in WandaVision?
I have no clue. I think like this Wanda, I don't know. Like it's so weird because like if they're taking they said that they were taking a retro aesthetic to the show, like a 1950s esque like aesthetic to us, and that just gets me excited. Like you don't know what the hell's going on. That being said, they said that this show does tie into Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So what if
probably something to do with that?
So what if Scarlet Witch just like rips a hole into like a fucking dimension where she like
Rips a hole into Vision and then stuffs it.
or, like,
Oh
or
my
she,
God.
she goes into like a different world where like Vision is actually alive or something.
Yeah.
Like that's what I mean. The possibilities are endless. I don't really know what the hell is going on. I don't really like the title, WandaVision, because like there is an actual book just called Scarlet Witch and the Vision.
I see, yeah.
But like
It kind of is growing on me in a way, but it makes me feel like it's some kind of like
the title means something.
yeah.
like, WandaVision, like it has to mean something.
The Vision is in
and not
her.
just as literal as it sounds. Like
it
it's
sounds
gotta
to
be
me,
something.
yeah. I'm thinking of like That's So Raven.
That's so
Yeah.
craven.
Ooh, it's the future. I can see. Why did I say it like that?
Yeah, I know.
I'm still
Actual dialogue.
This is the second Disney Plus series that they're coming. It's also a mini series. I think it's only 6 episodes as
Yeah,
well.
I don't see these people.
I'm not sure when The Mandalorian comes out, but it could predate.
That's like this fall.
Yeah, well,
but-
that's what I'm saying. So it's the third Disney Plus series then.
It is also. We're going to talk about Doctor Strange next, but it's coming out like a month or two right before.
Yeah, it's supposed to lead in, and
So it is
that's what I was
legit in
saying.
there.
Where it's like, how many people are going to be invested enough to like, let me pay for Marvel per month.
That is
Yeah.
actually true because like you will have
See
to
a
have seen.
prequel.
these
You're gonna be
shows.
lost. Yeah,
Yeah.
like for sure. Like I know they have to make the movie to stand alone, but like if you want to get the full picture,
That's an interesting part. We should probably just touch upon that. Do you think people will drop off because of it?
John, I
We
said this
talked.
earlier.
We had a conversation
Oh,
about
okay.
this,
Yeah, no,
John.
like a complete conversation.
Well, I'm just like, okay, well, I guess so. My
You
bad. I wasn't
fucker.
paying
No,
attention.
John, say what you want to say. If I edit it and put it in the front part, we can do it. If not,
Yeah.
I'll just be
I'm
lazy.
sorry, I
I'll
guess
put it
I
in the
was just
front
not
part.
paying attention to
Get your
that
head
part.
out your ass, baby.
But yeah, it is. Again, it's going to be really interesting because we're talking about all this Disney Plus stuff in between, but it's whether or not
Because now you can
people-
just pick and choose your favorite heroes now. Like like, what if you don't give a shit about like the Vision or
Falcon.
something?
You know, that-
like,
Like the Falcon.
That might be why they're only 6 episodes long now because that's digestible. Like I can watch
that's totally true.
6 episodes.
They're all 20 minutes each.
Imagine that.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, imagine that.
That would
Like,
be
if
the
they're like
worst.
30 minutes or something like that.
Just
like,
I
short
would fucking
films.
hate it. I would hate it so bad. Well, because like now, like you're getting these actors to move on, so why can't you like just come back, film a little piece of the
Yeah,
show?
they'll do it.
and fuck out of here.
They'll fucking do it.
Yeah,
I don't give a fuck. They'll
But
do
also,
it.
like
I
that's
don't
how
give
you
a
save.
fuck. I
That's how
don't
you
give-
save the budget, though. If you're like
Yeah.
just doing like 30-minute episodes or something,
Yeah.
like that's.
well, because like everyone's gonna have their streaming service. HBO's getting their own, and that the DC shit's jumping on there, and
Universal.
everything. So like,
Dolphin Pod, we're doing a streaming service too.
oh yeah, well, and like to me, like that's how you stand out. Like
Yeah.
you get these big name actors that people got used to, and they're not doing movies anymore. Bam, plug them into the show.
Our streaming service is $500,000 a year, and we only need 1 subscriber. So if you want to be that one, let us know.
We have very exclusive content.
So WandaVision, I think of all of the things we talked about, this is the one that is the most kind of mysterious in a weird way.
And weird because it's connected to a fucking movie.
Yeah.
Like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that's cool. There's no Captain America movie
Standalone.
coming out.
kind of
Yeah.
like an epilogue, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting though is they technically can do like after credit scenes that lead into these Disney Plus things.
Yeah.
Because at the end of Black Widow, they could just cut to Falcon and Winter Soldier. At the
It's
end
like-
of WandaVision,
at the-
like direct cut.
At the very end of the movie, it's just gonna say, "Log on to Disney Plus to see the next
To
after
see
credit
more."
scene."
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And everyone's gonna do
Subscribe
it
now.
Yeah, here's a sweet code to plug into your account, and that's the only way you can see the third after credit scene.
So in May, the summer movie of 2021, a couple of months after WandaVision, is something, John, I think you said you're most excited for this movie. Scott Derrickson's back to do Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, an H.P. Lovecraft-covered horror movie for...
It's kind of exciting if you
Yeah,
think about it
for
because like
MCU.
Co-starring
for multiple reasons.
the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, because like
Yeah.
Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange are like they're not an item. That's not what I was trying to say. But like
Ooh.
they're partners in the comics and they have some really cool stories together because they both like kind of operate on this weird magical spectrum.
Yeah.
For Doctor Strange to finally get into some weird trippy shit is stuff that I've been saying since the first Doctor Strange movie.
Well, and the first Doctor Strange
So-
movie had like moments of
very
that.
safe,
It was like
yeah.
like when the Ancient One sends him flying, or like when he goes to meet Dormammu. But that's about it.
The back in time fight, I think is pretty like trippy as hell. Like when
Yeah. But I mean, like you could see on how like I still wanted more. Like he did cooler shit in Endgame.
Yeah.
and in Infinity War. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry, in Infinity War, not Endgame.
Well,
Endgame, he all he does is control water.
He circles everyone back too at some point. Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna stop us from drowning.
What this whole concept of this insane? Well, let's talk about the villain. Isn't it the
could be
the
nightmare?
nightmare,
Tell us about the nightmare. What? I have nightmares. Is that what this is?
It's supposed to be categorized as the MCU's first horror movie, and I also want to backtrack a little bit and say that they said the WandaVision is gonna give Scarlet Witch her name because they don't really call her the Scarlet Witch; they just call her the Wanda.
Yeah, that's
and so
true.
They said it's really gonna show you on why and how she gets that name, which makes sense because I better see some witchy stuff in the. In this Doctor Strange in the Mountain of Madness. No, I was kidding. Whatever it's called.
So there's, I think that's where the horror element comes in, right? Like the way they control the.
Well, because it's different. Like, so the nightmare is only an entity from a different dimension. It's from the dream dimension.
Yeah.
The dream.
So
Which
like
we
it
have to
basically it controls. It's very self-explanatory. Like basically controls your dreams. So an entity, a supervillain like that encounters Doctor Strange is like it's the possibilities like of even the horror imagery that you can get to.
Yeah,
like
you gotta go to sleep sometime.
Pretty awesome.
Well, and Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange are gonna probably be teaming up in this movie or something like that. But they're kind of in that element, and this is what's really cool about the MCU is we have all of these characters in the same, I guess, multiverse. So to kind of use a word that's in the title, but they can be separate from everything else. I mean, like for example, all this can be happening in a different dimension and not affect all of the the Earth stuff that's happening, or all of the celestial, galaxy stuff going on.
Well,
but the multiverse is insane to
people
introduce.
are already coming up with rumors of like, oh, this Doctor Strange is going to go into Sam Raimi's original Spider-Man movie because Jameson said his name to this. So I think it would be cool if they went into that. I don't think they will, but
you kind of, I mean, like this could be the actual unlike Spider-Man Home or Far From Home. This could be this is going to be the actual multiverse one.
Yeah, exactly. Like
so if you wanted to get
Mysterio was onto something.
If you wanted to get weird with like different dimensions, like different even movie continuities, I don't think they'll do that. I don't think they're that ambitious. They could do that in this movie, which is like pretty cool.
I read earlier when they first announced this because I was super excited too because Scott Derrickson's really fantastic, and I think we speculated that he was pretty far into pre-production, like when we talked about Doctor Strange a while ago, because I follow him on Twitter and he's talking about like
he's a very open dude
in these
too.
meetings
like, he's
and
always
stuff.
talking about like he literally will show his like his opinion for like stuff that like he doesn't like or stuff that he will like. So he's a pretty out there filmmaker.
What's the thing that's really interesting about this pairing of Wanda and Doctor Strange is very disciplined. He had to learn to have that power, whereas Scarlet Witch I think was like kind of like a rogue or something. Like she had all this power just thrown at her, and she is kind of she could fucking do crazy ass shit.
She almost killed Thanos by herself.
Yeah, so I think that's what's really interesting, and the idea that even madness is in the title is you have these really powerful people who can do stuff and like raise people from the dead, kill people, like change people's minds. Like they're almost like gods in this way, traveling back and forth. Except, it's gonna be kind of insane. But I'm really excited for that movie.
I'm super excited for that movie. That's gonna be the Doctor Strange I think we're all waiting for since the first one.
Let us know what you think about the Eternals, Shang-Chi, everything that we talked about, WandaVision and Doctor Strange. Tell us what you're excited for. Go to DelphinPod, at DelphinPod on all social media and be a part of that conversation. Again, I'll be in New York City and Philadelphia this coming weekend. So reach out if you want a free sticker. Stay tuned. Go to patreon.com/DelphinPod if you want to hear the full 2-hour episode or the full 2-hour conversation. We'll see you next Thursday while we talk more Phase 4.